Oh boy, someone... Goji Center has another challenger, and judging from the title, it did not go well, like, at all. Hank 1.0 ended up failing. The Primatus Rex ended up failing. The scientifically accurate one, anyways. And I don't even know who's tried to school him this time. I don't even know who tried to step up, but I'm about to find out, and well, finding out they failed miserably. Not gonna lie, I'm not too surprised. Not really. Alright, I'm curious to see how this is going to go, and yeah, let's just jump right into it now, shall we? Every time I see one of these, it keeps on making me want to make my own hybrid more and more. I don't know. Maybe I should actually just get up and finally do it at some point. I don't know, but I probably need some help. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Somewhere
They try and ground it with some realism, and we're going to try and do exactly the same thing to debunk this Indominus Rex 3.0. Now remember, 70% of this genome is made up of small animals, so the 30% of the T-Rex and the Saurophaganax are not going to off-put that, but it's going to go berserk, turn into some type of sociopath.
I can't even hear what is going on, because Alvin's talking too much, like, goddamn, like...
Than the original Indominus Rex. It'd probably be around the size of a velociraptor. The natural predator to a great ape is weakness to humans. They've used the Saurophaganax clearly for its teeth, the serrated jaws. So thus the genomes here, they're non-aggressive. Huge weakness to human pathogens. Indominus Rex 3.0. 3.0 is exactly the same as the 2.0.
Indominus 3.0.
3.0?
Well, looks like this just keeps happening, and people never learn.
Shadows to... Wait, Shadows? Wait, I think I know what that is. Hold on. Oh, yep, that's... Yep, I knew it. Might have to go back and watch some of those videos. I looked at the top comment, or the pinned comment on that video he did, and apparently the dude's been getting some personal attacks because they're like, come on, man, why are we doing that? That's not cool. And he's also, Shadows also has made a response to it. Maybe I'll look at that too.
Learn. If there are any two words the internet has ruined when it comes to debates, it's, well, actually, but looks like it's our turn, because...
Yeah, that's, and, yeah. I'm tired of hearing that phrase. I'm really not. Because you're like, well, actually, and I'm just like, oh my god, shut up. Shut up. Put a cork in the mouth. Like, damn.
A certain someone wanted to weigh in on the hybrid that the internet has collectively decided to try and kill.
Yep.
Someone thought they were onto something and thought they could seriously school Goji Center about our own creation before throwing their own name into the ring. Our response? Take a seat. You might learn something for your own creations. Because today on Goji Center, class is once again in session.
Alrighty
the
then.
report in scrutiny for today, a video published by YouTuber Shadows, who made a few statements that cannot be forgiven. Shadows' video tackled the subject from an interesting angle. Granted, the Jurassic franchise has always had a fickle relationship with realism.
Yeah,
on one
true.
hand, the animals involved are supposedly to be completely normal flesh and blood animals. On the other hand, some amount of fantasy for the sake of spectacle is always to be expected in fiction.
True.
Still though, there's always going to be limits when you're not talking about something with flat-out kaiju like the Godzilla franchise. When we began talking about and introducing our own hybrids back in 2023, it was common consensus amongst everyone watching that hybrid creation like this in the real modern-day world is flat-out impossible due to many real-life genetic hurdles that need to be bypassed. That is, being able to extract DNA from extinct species that died off millions of years ago. Beyond that, the next challenges would be selecting...
Like, do you have any idea, like, how lucky you would actually have to be for something like that to actually happen, though? To, like, actually get the DNA from, like, of a dinosaur from a mosquito encased in amber? That has got to be, like... You'd have to be, like, so lucky. And even then, if you did find like that, there's no guarantee you'll actually find an actual dinosaur in there. Well... Or, ugh. Yeah, exactly. I don't know why I'm having a brain fart there, but yeah, there's no guarantee it'll even be a dinosaur blood in there. It could be something else, or well, I don't know. I guess it could be a dinosaur. Well, I don't know. Is everything back then considered a dinosaur? I don't know. And even then, it may not even have blood in it either. If that's you manage to find that, like, you got basically everything would have to go right in that situation. Everything needs to be right.
Genetic contributors that will mostly positively create a build for a brand new animal with a specific purpose, which in the 2.0's case is to create a primarily terrestrial creature whose purpose is to act as a localized extinction event, driven to wipe out entire ecosystems, including all life forms, and reproduce quickly to attain said goal. That's it. We've been pretty clear about that from the start, and if you've been carefully following this hybrid fiasco, you'd probably know this quite well. Unlike Shadows, who probably skimmed through plenty of videos and posts that mentioned this repeatedly, and for some odd reason kept calling it 3.0, it was at this point when we knew this
Yeah, like, why are we calling it 3.0? I don't know.
was going to be fun. Come on, dude, it's 2.0. Where did the 3 come from?
Exactly.
This, maybe? Anyone who actually watched the video
Oh.
would know the 3.0 is completely unnecessary. Additionally, before revealing their creation like other infamous examples like Goji Guy's Hank and Dangerville's Primatus, Shadows thought it would be a good idea to nerf the 2.0 as much as they could by trying to smack it with the Realism stick. So
Okay.
let's investigate some of the claims before we completely debunk these statements. And at the end, we'll see who wields this metaphorical
Oh, jeez.
stick better.
God, can you imagine Indom 3? Okay. You imagine, like, getting your ass beat by an Indominus Rex holding a giant metal pole? Like, Jesus, and with the whole blacked out background and everything, reminded me of, like, the Arkham Batman game's death scenes and everything, yeah. Just imagine just seeing that happen. Oh, jeez. Will be around the size of a velociraptor? Excuse me?
One of the bold claims that Shadows put forth is that the 2.0 would be far smaller than the Indominus Rex, producing some graphs claiming that the 2.0 was a runt. Also mentioning that the large size of the Indominus Rex was due to Giganotosaurus and additional big-bodied species in the genome, including Tyrannosaurus and Deinosuchus. With the
Okay, I know the Indom... Well, I'm pretty sure the Indom... Well, you know, I'll let them cook.
Giga additive removed from the 2.0 and the Deinosuchus swapped out with the African dwarf crocodile for more armor, the claim was that the small species like short-tailed shrew would shrink the 2.0 down to being a fraction of the size of the original. Except they seem to have forgotten something. Them. Contrary to other claims, viewers who remember our size chart videos might recall that Tyrannosaurus Rex currently holds the spot as the largest predatory dinosaur.
Really?
Giganotosaurus is certainly up there as well, and any hybrid using a lot of one or both of them is going to wind up huge. Shadows claims that because Shrew
Okay,
is...
I'll be honest. I thought the Giga was bigger than the T-Rex, but what do I know?
in the genome, its contribution would be enough to shrink the 2.0 down to halfway point. And also keep in mind, what they're using as a basis is Jurassic World's logic. So here's how this goes. Under this logic, assuming that the 2.0 should be the size of a velociraptor, the Indominus Rex, on the other hand, would technically also be reduced greatly. The use of cuttlefish, pit viper, frog would also shrink the Indominus. But did it? No. The argument against this is that the Indominus Rex does have a greater number of larger animals in its genome. T-Rex, Deinosuchus, Giga, Therizinosaurus. But what Shadows
And
doesn't seem to get is that these things do not affect the size of a hybrid as you think it does. One of the reasons is that when building a hybrid, step number one is always choosing a base genome. This base genome is largely going to establish how large and what body type your hybrid will mostly resemble. What Shadows thinks we did, and everyone who participated in the hybrid war did, was that we all put animals in a blender, and every creature contributed an equal amount to the animal's genome, which cannot be more wrong. The 2.0, for example, uses the base genome of T-Rex. According to more recent studies, it is now well established that T-Rex could in fact reach the size of 42 feet in length, with very few exceptionally large individuals probably breaching these sizes. So the length of the 2.0, regardless of the absent Giga, is still very much supported, which is the same case of the Indominus Rex. Had Shadows actually paid attention in our video introducing the 2.0, he'd know very well that the 2.0 was actually shrunk in size in comparison to a full-grown Indominus Rex.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, because I'm pretty sure it was smaller than the original Indom, but not by much. Yeah.
Sweet spot to better hunt down animals of smaller size classes, but retaining enough mass to take down the big ones.
Yeah.
The extra additions, such as longer ape arms, full body armor, shorter hind limbs, and Shrew's iron-covered teeth, were all possible thanks to advanced gene editing technology seen in Jurassic World. But believe it or not, a form of this actually exists in real life.
Really?
To further explain this, we won't use Jurassic Park's logic anymore. We'll go further. We'll use real-life examples.
Alrighty.
What you're looking at
Ouch.
right now is a glow-in-the-dark cat. Thanks to real-life gene editing technology, geneticists were able to select a few genes from a jellyfish and add them to the cat's genome that builds the skin on the face of this cat. Now, it doesn't take a genius to realize the majority of this animal's genome is made up of house cats, not jellyfish.
Yeah.
This kitty is not about to sprout stingers or need to live in water. Also, did the kitten shrink or increase in size? No. See? Careful, meticulous gene splicing is a real thing.
Alrighty
And the
then.
reason this cat is the same size of a regular house cat is the same reason why the Indominus Rex turned out to be 40 plus feet in Jurassic World. And also why the 2.0
What did I say at the end? No, it's worth noting a full-grown Indominus would be 55 feet in length. Yeah, true.
despite having small animals in its genome, is not the size of a raptor. So instead of splicing huge chunks for every genetic contributor in, the 2.0 was made by taking a real, biologically accurate Tyrannosaurus and swapping in different sized pieces of DNA depending on what was needed. This is how you make a hybrid, not throwing everything in a blender,
Yeah.
which is what the folks at Shadows are failing to understand. Note how the smaller gene sources for the 2.0 were largely restricted to isolated body parts, like the arms, teeth, skin, and egg-producing organs. Keep this in mind as we continue to revise Shadows' wild claims.
Make that some kind of sociopath.
Shadows tried to make a big deal about claiming the great ape DNA would be some kind of hidden weakness. Namely, that great apes have weak immune systems, and that they become violent and sociopathic when left alone. So the resulting hybrid would be a chaotic mess of a brute. At this point, the web has been flooded with horror stories, and a certain scene from Nope, making it look like some of our nearest relatives turn into berserk psychopaths at the drop of a hat.
What was that? I saw a flashing image. Hold on, I gotta go find that. It's not even a picture. It's just okay. I don't know what went on here, but okay.
Turn into berserk psychopaths at the drop of a hat. Here's the reality check. Great apes, and especially chimpanzees, are not orcs. Chimpanzees can absolutely be violent.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
ask the various monkeys and game they dispatch. But has anyone else ever noticed the horror stories going around the web are always the same 3 cases over and over again?
Let me guess. They provoked them somehow and pissed them off. That's my guess.
To give the Cliff Notes, 2023 reevaluation by anthropologist and war expert R. Brian Ferguson found that some of the Gombe chimpanzee wars casualties were probably the result of leopard attacks. The infamous face ripper Travis, for example, was a drugged animal kept in horrid conditions. And if anyone wants to bring up the attack at the animal sanctuary, we dare you to take a good look at the humans who targeted that couple after the fact and tell us the chimps were the only brutal ones here. Now, compare that to the thousands of other chimpanzees that are raised in isolation that didn't act out. If bad living conditions automatically turned chimpanzees into chaotic brutes, we'd be seeing attacks all the time.
Yeah.
What Shadows tried to do in saying the 2.0 would be a senseless brute was take a tiny substrata of evidence and label every single chimpanzee in both the wild and captivity as a senseless maniac. This dude owes chimpanzees a public apology.
Sounds like
the
it.
truth is that yes, chimps can be violent, but
yeah.
they aren't really psychos.
Just about any animal can be violent if provoked enough, you know.
They definitely aren't more psychotic than a lion or a horse, animals that kill more humans annually than chimps.
Yeah.
Now, if we wanted the 2.0 to be as berserk as possible,
I don't know if you really want to. If you want to put a real psychotic animal in, try talking about damn hippos. There you go. That's a real psychotic animal. Or badgers. Yeah. I don't know which one's more psychotic. They're both pretty psychotic.
putting it in the same enclosure that the Indominus Rex lived in would get that job done. But nowhere in any of our previous videos did we mention that the 2.0 was kept in such conditions.
Wild claims? Oh boy.
There was an awful lot of supposing going on in a video claiming to dissect something. One of the key points was that the 2.0 would be another basket case of mishmash traits like the Scorpius Rex.
No, boy.
Issues were brought up like the Tyrannosaur DNA screwing up the eyesight or whiptail lizard contribution leading it to drop its tail in the worst way possible, severely compromising it. In other words, a self-owning by the hybrid's own genome. Unfortunately for Shadows, this is not the case of the 2.0 electrocuting its own brain with zappy fish DNA like some Hall of Shame entries.
Yeah, I got so annoyed at that, man. Like, I was just... If you want to see how annoyed I got at that, go watch my reaction to the Hall of Shame, because damn was I annoyed at all the electric eels in there, because Jesus Christ.
Let's go through these claims one by one, because, boy, there are a lot of them.
Also added the whiptail lizard in. Again, that's presumably because the whiptail lizard can regenerate cells. I mean, the whiptail lizard drops its tail. Literally
The whiptail lizard, according to Shadows, was added for regeneration and claimed it would affect the tail in falling off. This is something they made up out of thin air. Recall that the other genome additions were meticulously selected from each contributing animal. The only reason the whiptail lizard makes itself present in the 2.0's genome is for its sexual organs. The ability to reproduce asexually via apomictic parthenogenesis. This allows the 2.0 to reproduce exact
I'll be honest, I don't remember why everything was put in here, but other than a few things, but, yeah.
Of herself repeatedly.
But I figured, like, regeneration was just, yeah, no.
Without needing a mate. And that's it. Let's see what else Shadows made up.
Alright.
couple it with the T-Rex's poor eyesight.
With the T-Rex's poor eyesight.
Poor eyesight. T-Rex having a poor eyesight. The thing that has been debunked to hell and back whenever this thing apparently had, like, one of the best visions out there. Yeah. I don't think I grammared that right, but yeah, it had, like, one of the best forms of vision out there. So, yeah, like, what is it, straight up binocular vision or something? Yeah, it's... yeah, you stand still, it's gonna see you, alright? It's going to. Alright, like... Jurassic Park was going off of what it had at the time, yeah. Which I assume was the standing still, I can't see you type thing, yeah. And even then, I think I heard someone say that it could still even try to get you because of sense of smell. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. And I mean, it could be true, and the movies just forgot about the sniffing. But I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I'm not the smartest. But whenever you put it that way, it would make sense that, you know, standing still wouldn't work because of sense of smell and everything. Because, yeah, granted, I don't know what the statement was on the T-Rex's sense of smell at the time, but I imagine it wasn't a horrible sense of smell like a damn pug or something. Yeah, and even then, I'm not even 100% accurate at pugs have poor sense of smell. I'm just saying that because they have breathing issues. So yeah. Anyways, let's get back into this.
The eyesight. Here's yet another reminder that the 2.0 was not made with any dinosaurs from the Jurassic Park franchise. This one was made from real-life animals. This makes Shadow's claim that the eyesight of the 2.0 would be messed with obsolete. And even if it was a JP T-Rex that we used, note how this didn't even affect the original Indominus Rex or Indoraptor.
True.
Comparing the original and the 2.0/3.0, you'll notice a stark contrast. It's missing several dinosaurs. In fact, the 2.0 has only 9 species of genome, where the original actually has 13. They decided to take out the Therizinosaurus, the Deinosuchus, the Giga, the Carno, the Ragop.
Next, the claim that the lesser number of genetic contributors in the 2.0 was a handicap couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure a lot of dinosaurs with less genomes added in were actually did a lot better than you'd think. Yeah, like for example, when we were looking at the honorable mentions, there was a hybrid where it was literally just a T-Rex and a chicken, and it actually does a lot better. And yeah, it was literally just that, a T-Rex and a chicken, yeah. And I had a comment on there talking about, hold on, let me look at the comment. Someone made a comment saying it would actually be a lot more crazier than I originally thought. Damn, there's some comments on that video I still haven't answered. I need to go back and do that. Alright, here it is, yeah. Chickens see everything as food, and T-Rex is a carnivore. Those two combined do not make a gentle giant. I think the whole chickening out of the fight thing is more self-preservation. Also, since chickens can survive a bit without their heads, I'm pretty sure that this thing can too. Which the idea of a large, almost T-Rex-sized animal having the ability to survive a short while after decapitation is terrifying to me. I'll be honest, I think it wouldn't surprise me if a T-Rex itself could survive a little bit after decapitation. Because, I mean, I just feel like it's an animal that just got that dog in it, yeah. But yeah, that was something talking about how, like, the chicken T-Rex hybrid would be a lot more dangerous than I thought, and yeah. Yeah, like, just mix it with something that is not a picky eater at all, then, yeah. And then add it with the T-Rex, yeah, there you go. Anyways, let's get back into this. I lost track of where he's at because of that, alright.
Shadows with a new word. Congruity. Put very simply, the less contributors that share more
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Less, and sometimes less is better. Yeah. Sometimes less is more, too. Yeah, there we go.
characteristics, the better. In 2.0's case, 8 out of 9 of the contributors are vertebrates. 7 out of 9...
What did he put in this thing again? T-Rex, African dwarf crocodile, chimpanzee, northern short-tailed shrew, Allosaurus annex, formerly known as Saurophaganx, pit viper, velociraptor, cuttlefish, and whip-tailed lizard. Okay.
have 4 limbs. 9 out of 9 dispatch prey with their hinged jaws. 5 out of 9 of them use their forelimbs for attack or locomotion. And the similarities go on and on. And every one of these animals contributed only what is required to make the 2.0 functional, with a larger percentage of them with agreeable instincts. For instance, dwarf crocodiles are known to be very reclusive around humans, simply because we aren't on the end weight class. Shadows claimed that these are very passive, but try telling that to the reptiles, small mammals, and crustaceans it eats all the time. Give this animal a larger body and this thing would be a Caprasuchus reincarnated hunting us instead.
Yeah.
This animal hunts on land more often, similar to the 2.0, does not use the death roll like other species, and of course comes with the perk of full body armor, which is why this animal was picked over another larger croc with more conflicting instincts. Next up is the utter disrespect on the short-tailed shrew.
Oh,
This
boy.
animal, if you remember correctly, and paid attention, was used primarily for its iron-ingrained teeth, venomous saliva, and thrashing jaw motion when attacking,
Oh, yeah.
which works in
I
tandem with
remember.
the T-Rex's bite and very strong,
Yeah, that's something I remember.
deep-rooted teeth.
They've used the Saurophaganx clearly for its teeth, the serrated jaws.
No, this doesn't have Saurophaganx serrated teeth as Shadow so boldly claimed. We never said it did. The addition of the shrew did come with some attributes that initially may seem as drawbacks, but given the intended purpose of this animal, which is to kill everything, this is actually a good thing.
Sounds
Higher
like it.
metabolism requires this creature to hunt more often and store its prey once it goes catatonic to eat for later.
So them great ape arms we can see on there wouldn't be all that big. They wouldn't even have them claws. Sure, they'd be quite muscular, but they wouldn't have them claws on the end of it. But we can say that comes from the Velociraptor.
Shadows completely misunderstood the composition of the 2.0's arms, claiming that the arms would be small on a small hybrid, which we debunked this already, and that this thing won't have claws, which we clearly stated in the original video featuring the 2.0 that these came from Saurophaganx,
there
or
it is.
currently classified as Allosaurus anax indefinitely, not from a Velociraptor.
Gotcha.
The use of Great Ape for the 2.0 was for the following: providing fast twitch muscles for the enlarged arms, extra digits including a thumb for manipulating objects and using tools, and for an enhanced level of problem solving and intelligence, fully bolstered by T-Rex collaborative nature and heightened senses.
Excuse me?
One of the wildly preposterous claims that sent ripples across Goji Center HQ was this one. One of the advantages of this hybrid and having a large dinosaur biology is resilience to smaller, lesser mammalian viruses. The statement that apes are highly vulnerable to a sneeze, for instance, would hold up had this creature been made up of mostly mammals with a predominant mammalian anatomy. This, however, isn't the case. The flesh and bone that makes up most of this hybrid is similar to that of a T-Rex, and the 2.0 influence of ape in the brain and arms isn't enough for it to be a detrimental kryptonite factor on its saurian immune system. Besides, apes are already more resilient than people might think, with faster acting immune responses than most mammals.
Oh, neat.
Additionally, the hybrid wouldn't have the compressed sinuses and snout that leads to infections apes like us might get. And any issues that do exist can be patched up by the dwarf croc and dinosaurian biology that is heavily resilient to mammalian viruses. The 2.0 was made to be a great carrier of various viruses, able to survive holding those infections for a long time thanks to not being as badly affected as other animals. It might inevitably die after a long time once a strain mutates in such a way that it will prove lethal, but not before acting as a horrible bridge to so many pathogens for anything that came across it. We could keep going, but we covered just about all the big crazy claims mentioned in Shadow's deplorable demonstration of his understanding of the 2.0 and really hybrids in general. That hybrid they're making with human DNA?
Oh, jeez.
Well, all of you know where we're sending that hybrid.
Yeah. Alrighty then. Neat. I like this pinned comment in this video. Get over yourself, Goji Center. Endom 2.0 lost to Primatus Rex. Yeah, sure. Sure. Random person on the internet challenges Goji Center. Goji Center. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Yeah. Oh, and Goji Center put another comment on here saying we couldn't let this one slip by without being addressed. In all seriousness, remember, none of this is actually serious, so don't go out there and spew hateful comments. That's not what we do. Like we all like to say, this is all just for fun. It's all just for fun, which, yeah, it is. Like, no need to go spew out hate and stuff for that. Like, come on, man. But yeah, this was a really good debunking video and schooling of shadows. Yeah. Again, don't send hate. Like, it ain't that serious, dude. But I am curious to see what kind of hybrid he's going to be cooking up for the hybrid war, though. Yeah, I am curious. I'll have to look at his response video to this, too, so that'll be a thing. My left leg is asleep. I don't like that. But yeah, he basically tried to nerf this thing, and, well, that didn't go well at all. Yeah, the Indominus 2.0 doesn't end up destroying itself with its own DNA genome like Hank did. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna go and end the video now. So if you enjoyed it, check out the original video, which will be linked in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Go check out Goji Center. It'll also be linked in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a good day, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.